with Stella's Meza. On today's episode, we'll be making a mango lassi. You're probably wondering what a mango lassi is. That's just a smoothie made out of mangoes, and it is an Indian treat that they normally drink in the hot months. Now, it's summer where I'm at, and I decided to use that as an inspiration to make a popsicle. A mango lassi inspired popsicle. Some of the ingredients I'll be using here will slightly differ from the traditional Indian lassi, but the flavors are still the same. That strong mango flavor, the cardamom in there, and the milk are going to come through in whatever it is I make. So I'll get you down to the ingredients so you can see what we need to get started. Okay, now the ingredients for this popsicle are very, very simple. What we have here is Greek yogurt, and this is traditionally used in the Indian lassi, but this is Greek yogurt. They normally use just like regular yogurt, but you want it unflavored, okay? Or if you'd like, you could use this will make it not a traditional lassi. If you like, you can use Greek yogurt that has vanilla flavor, okay? But that's one of the differences that you have to make for it not to be a traditional mango lassi. And then you're going to also need sweetened condensed milk, and this you find in the baking aisle. Okay, this is just basically milk with some of the moisture taken out and a little bit of sweetness added to it, and it's kind of thick. It's just milk. You see, it's really thick, and I'm putting this in the recipe just to give it that added creaminess. And to that, the star ingredient will be, of course, the mango. Now over here I have 2 mangoes that I have cut into little cubes, and I'll show you exactly how I got this. Okay, I reserved a piece that's uncut, and I'll show you how I got this. And I'm still not decided. I may not use this. I got some mango nectar, so I'll taste after I blend these ingredients in the blender to see if it's sweet enough. If it's not, I'm just going to add a little bit of this for that added mango flavor. And you'll also need, since this is a pops, you're going to need popsicle sticks, and you can find this in the craft aisle at any grocery store, like a large or any craft store. And also popsicle molds, or alternatively you could use these paper cups. These are Dixie paper cups. These are 5-ounce cups, and I use this in my last popsicle video for the 4th of July popsicles. And you also need some aluminum foil that I have here. All right, and you also need a pinch of cardamom. Okay, not too much, or it's going to taste like something that came out of Bath and Body Works. You don't want whatever it is to taste too perfumey or soapy, so just don't go heavy-handed on that. All right, so I'm going to pull this piece of mango that I reserved aside and show you how it is that I got those cubes. There's those who already know how to do this, but I'm doing this for those who do not know, okay? Because I've gotten questions about how to do that. So I cut on either side of the mango to get this, okay? Either side of the seed to get this, and I went ahead and scored it. As you can see, there's little lines. Now, scoring means not cutting all the way through to the skin, just making lines, like deep gorges in it. And then I did it across again to get that diamond shape. Now, this makes it really easy to take the fleshy part out of the mango. And then what you do, you press on the back and push it outwards. See that? So what I do is I then take my bowl and I use a sharp knife to just release those bits into the bowl with the other mangoes. So it's just as simple as that. Okay, and this recipe will be made, you don't need to cook anything. All you got to do is put it in a blender. So you need a cup of a blender, and what we're going to do is we're going to combine all the ingredients and then puree it. And then once everything is nice and smooth and there are no lumps, you will then pour the mixture into your waiting mold. Okay, I'll just clean my hands up quick there, and I'll move this to the side. So over here I have the cup of my blender. I'm just going to dump those mangoes in there. Remember, this is 2 mangoes. And as always, for the full ingredient list and the measurements for everything I use in all my recipes, please visit my blog. It's www.stellasmeza.blogspot.com. Okay, so I'm just going to shake that out to even it. And then I am going to add some yogurt in here. I'm just going to start with half of it at first, to see if I like that consistency. If it's too runny, I'm going to add the other half, but I'll include the exact amount in my blog. So I'm going to pour in that sweetened condensed milk. Remember, it's not evaporated milk, it's sweetened condensed milk. I'm just going to make sure I get every bit of that. And then to that, I'm going to add a little bit of cardamom. Okay. All right, and that's it. That's basically it. So I'm going to put this in my, I'm going to turn the blender to puree, and I'm going to make sure this is all nicely blended together and pureed. It's soft, no lumps in there, and then I'm going to taste it for sugar. Now, if for any reason you find that it's not sweet enough, I'm trying not to use actual granulated sugar. I'm going to use this, okay, the mango nectar, just for that sweetness of the mango, but with less of the sugar. So I'm going to throw this in my blender, puree it for around 5 minutes, and like I'll start and stop, and then I'll be right back with you, and we're going to pour them into the molds, and then we'll go from there. So see you back in a little bit. Alright, so I went ahead and blended my mango and cardamom and Greek yogurt and sweetened condensed milk in the blender for about 5 minutes, and I made sure there were no lumps in it. I used my spatula to scrape the sides and mix it every now and then between that 5 minutes, just to make sure everything was well combined and well blended, and this is what it looks like. Alright, over here I have my molds, and I have a paper towel right underneath it just to catch any drips, but this is what it looks like. I use Greek yogurt on purpose because I want it to be this thick, because it's gonna go, I want it to set nice and creamy. I don't want it to be too runny, and that's the consistency you're looking for. As you can see, there's no pulp in there. Now, another thing I think is important that you should know is when you're choosing your mangoes, make sure they're ripe, and the way you can tell is you can smell them, but make sure they're not too ripe to the point that when you cut through it, there's like fiber. You know, the fiber, mangoes are very fibrous, so you don't want a mango that's too fibrous or too ripe, because it'll have those strings such that when you're eating your popsicle, you're going to be sucking on the strings. You don't want your popsicle looking like an afro, like it has an afro. So try to avoid that, okay? Just get something that's ripe but not too ripe. And I did not need to add the mango nectar because this is perfectly sweet, just not too sweet, but you can taste the flavors of the mangoes coming through. All right, so I'm going to set this on this towel next here, and we're going to get ready to start filling our molds. You don't need to do anything special to the molds. Just make sure you clean them prior to starting to fill them. They're nice and clean, and I'm using this mixing bowl that has a sprout on it. That'll make it easier for me to pour out into the molds. Okay, so it will get messy. That's why that paper towel is right underneath the molds. And try not to fill it up all the way to the top, because for whatever reason I find that when I make the popsicles, they kind of expand, so you don't want them sticking too much out. Like right around there is good. And it's making a mess now, but I'm going to clean it up afterwards. I'll use a damp paper towel to just clean around the top of the mold. That way it does not freeze on there. See that? Okay, I'm going to keep doing that. And I'm going to fill both my molds. If there's leftovers, I'm going to use those Dixie paper cups that I showed you earlier. I used the same paper cups in my last video, and those are so easy to peel. You just make a snip at the top where you would sip on it, and then peel it off. After everything's frozen, it's really easy to take off. And I'm going to keep doing this. Once I'm finished, everything's filled up, I'm going to put this in the freezer. Actually, I think I'll leave them in there overnight. You can do it for 4 hours, but I'm going to leave mine overnight, okay? And I'll come back with you to show you the finished product. This should be delicious because I tasted the mix out of the blender to die for. So we'll see you back tomorrow, and I'll show you what they look like. Hey, I'm back because I forgot to mention one important thing. You need to put this popsicle sticks in the mold. Now you can see this recipe is enough for 8 of this molds plus 1. I didn't have anywhere else to put any more molds to put the mixture in, so I put it in one of the paper cups that I used for my last popsicle video. And you can see I have not put this in the fridge yet, but because I use that Greek yogurt, it's pretty thick, and the condensed milk as opposed to regular milk, you can see the popsicle stuck there, no problem. So you're just going to stick them in to the molds right in the center and try and keep them upright if you can. And then you're going to put them in the freezer. And one thing, if you want these, if you're not using the paper cups, these are, like I explained, you just snip the top of it and then you peel it off. But if you're using the molds, you'll need, once they're all good and set and hard, you'll need to put a bowl with some hot water and set this whole mold in the bowl for no more than 10 minutes, just to make sure that the mix that's become a popsicle in there loosens up, and you can pull it gently, pull it using the popsicle stick, slide it right out of the mold, okay? So we'll see you tomorrow, this time for real. All right, bye-bye. Welcome back to Stella's Mezza. It's been 8 hours since I put the popsicles up, the mango lassi popsicles up to set up. And I went ahead and put them in the freezer. Now that's the easiest way to get them set up. And I anticipated that they will not be quite set up until tomorrow. So I was going to leave them in the freezer overnight. But I want to check on them, and they're very well set. As you can see, you push on the sticks and nothing happens. They just stay put. So they're very well set. And I went ahead and unmolded the one that was in the paper cup. Okay, what I did is I made a snip at the top of the cup and I just peeled it off. It's pretty simple. And now for the ones in the plastic mold, you can set them in deep dish that you put some hot water in there. Just let them sit for no longer than 10 seconds, and then they'll come right out. They'll pop right out. All right. So this one I just went ahead and peeled, and I already had 2 actually for my kids, and they loved them. They loved them. It's not too sweet, and it's all just mango. I did not add sugar. Okay, and it's very creamy. Right now I know it got out the freezer. It looks kind of frozen, but it's very creamy. As you can see, some of it is starting to get off on the plate. They are delicious. Tastes like eating a cloud of mangoes. It's delicious and very good for you. There's a serving of fruit for you. So I hope that this recipe inspires you to get in the kitchen, make something different. Now this recipe itself was inspired by the Indian mango lassi, okay, and I put a little tweaking onto it. I changed a few things in there, but nonetheless it was still delicious, and they still had that reminiscent taste of the traditional Indian lassi smoothie. That's what it is. So I hope you check out my blog for the full recipe and the full instructions and measurements. My blog is www.stellasmezza.blogspot.com. And thank you for joining me this time for this simple recipe. I hope to see you again next time as I take your taste buds on another culinary safari. Thank you, and karibu to Stella's Mezza.
Yeah.